Michael Porter, Harvard Business School, probably the most quoted person with regard to strategy that you'll come across. And Michael Porter clearly says that the essence of strategy is choosing what not to do. So it fits with the raving fans customer service notion as well. It's really important to decide what you want to do, but it's just as important to decide what you're not going to do. And he also says if there weren't any competitors, there would be no need for strategy. So it's really important that you understand that strategy is all about competitive situation. It's all about putting yourself in a unique position vis-a-vis your competitors. And you should always be looking and measuring what your competitors are doing. And as Porter also says, if you don't have a strategy, then anything and everything could be really important. And you can get really distracted. So it is very valuable to have a strategy. I love this quote from Roosevelt as well. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. And we all want to do the right thing all the time. But the next best thing you can do is the wrong thing, because doing nothing is a really bad decision. That is the worst decision. A lot of people talk about wanting to be the biggest and wanting to be the best, and that their strategy is to be the best customer service, best product, best staff. Being the best is not a strategy. Being the best is easily copied by rivals, and then when everyone looks the same, the only differential you have is price, and that is not a good place to be. So being unique is a good strategy. You want to be different. You want to set yourself aside from your competitors. You want to be innovative and not just imitating what's going on. So I suppose looking at all the things that I've read in the courses in terms of success for strategy, it boils down, I think, to a small number of things. You always have to create the value first. You've got to have a differential, and then you've got to be able to capture that value. You've got to have real clarity in your organisation. And I don't mean that you need to brief every single person about every bit of your strategy, but you need to brief appropriately so that everyone knows what role they're playing and what value they have to the organisation. And it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be something that you can keep going. And there are always trade-offs, because you can't be everything to everybody. So success is not the result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. I love this, because you don't burst into flames of success. You really have to go and do it for yourself. And sometimes you have to start the strategy alone. Sometimes you have to be really brave or really crazy. Then you've got to get the buy-in that I talked about earlier. But sometimes you just have to go for it. And I think it's worth remembering that it's okay to tell your customers about your strategy, because then they'll understand when you say no, they'll understand better. And sometimes it's even worth letting your competitors know about your strategy. Because if you're doing something that's quite major strategic difference for your organisation, for your business, if you're making a major financial commitment with money or resources, then it's okay for your competitors to know, because people don't generally go for head-on-head conflict if they see you making that major commitment. I think people can be involved in setting the strategy, but once it is decided, if you're responsible for the strategy, then you need to ensure it doesn't get debated. Once it's executed and started, no more debate in the organisation, because that's really unhealthy. You need to have the right people in the right seats on the bus, as they say. And I think the final point to remember in terms of strategy, real strategy is not easily reversible. So when you're thinking of your strategy, if you're thinking about something that you're going to do tomorrow, that if it doesn't work out, you're going to change next Wednesday, that's probably not real strategy. Because real strategy isn't easy to change. It's going to be something that you've got to commit either financially or resources to.